Hi, I'm Shonda Miles. I am a performance expert. I help professionals accomplish their goals. In this video, I want to talk to church leaders, people who are making decisions in churches about programs. Two programs I'd like you to consider implementing in your church this year. The first one is an ongoing 12-month program on financial independence, financial wealth, money management. I'm talking about continuous program. And I know that churches around the country, some churches do have this once a year, once a quarter, once every 6 months. But this is a program that is much needed for every congregation member. If you have a pulse, then you have to steward money every single month. There is always things that you can learn about, whether it's investing, wills, if it's money management, if it's debt reduction. Because if you are in a congregation and you want to support the work of ministry, in order to support the work of ministry, you have to have money. And when we do well personally, we can support the work of ministry even more, even better. And so a 12-month program ongoing is very, very beneficial to people at every stage in life, because we know that we have students, kids who are going to college, who are graduating from high school. We have people that are young adults who are in their 20s, 30s. We have singles, we have marrieds, we have widows, we have middle age, we have people that are retiring, we have elderly, and people need to know how to steward their money well on a regular basis. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes it's good to hear somebody else's story. They have paid off $200,000 in debt. Maybe it's just how to invest your money, how to grow your money, what you should be doing with your money at the age that you are. But I think that financial literacy is so important for every church, because in order for people to support the work of ministry, they have to have money. They have to be able to pay their bills. They have to be able to have money to be able to support the work of ministry. And I'm not talking about just your regular tithes and offerings. I get that, right? That is our responsibility. But I'm talking about over and above. You want people who are doing well to be able to support the work of ministry. You don't want people to give and they can't feed their family, or they can barely eat. You want people who are doing well. In order for people to do well, they have to be educated. They have to have some type of financial literacy on a regular basis. And I will even venture to say that none of us know enough about money, right? Even if we're doing well. The second thing that weighs heavy on me is to have some type of 8-week program in your church that deals with a sex addiction, porn addiction, because based on studies, Christian studies, most men are involved in something, an affair, a porn addiction, sex addiction, or they're in a relationship with someone, a close relationship with someone who is, and they have no way they don't have any advice. They can't advise this person on how to deal with the issues that they face. And so this could be somebody that's as young as 10 to somebody who is 70 or 80, who deals with on a regular basis issues related to sexual fornication or sexual intimacy, or porn, or sex addiction, whatever it is. I think that it's valuable to have trained professionals that come in and educate people, on men in this case, on how to deal with these issues. But equally so, these men are married often to women who they have cheated on, who they have, whatever the case may be, who have to heal from these things, these issues that they face. And to me, I think about what better way to serve people in the congregation, to serve people that we do life with on a regular basis, than to have something for women, how to deal with these issues, these traumas, however it looks, right? Because a woman could be in a relationship with someone who is unfaithful because of her own issues that she had growing up, right? She chose the wrong person. She didn't, whatever it is, right? It could be healing from infidelity. It could be healing from past old traumas and old wounds. But for the man, it could be just every single day not being able to communicate effectively what it is they need or want in a relationship. It could be just selfish desires, right? Looking at porn. It could be sexual, sex addict. But these things are happening in the church on a regular basis, and they need to be addressed. We cannot just proceed as normal, right? When we have all these attacks of the enemy, and I believe this is one that is prevalent whether anybody says anything or not. I know that it's prevalent all over the country, all over churches. I believe it destroys churches. Believe it destroys marriages. And then we just go on, proceed as normal, like everything is fine. And I'm always amazed, because even if you haven't experienced it yourself, you've experienced it with enough people that are close to you where there's something that should be addressed, right? And then two, why would we can use it as a preventative measure, right? Even if it's not happening right now that you know of, and it is, I promise you it is. But you can use it as a preventative measure. How can you help support your church with an 8-week study, men's study, that talks about pornography, talks about how to handle sex addiction, talks about how to handle affairs, what to do, what to say, how to stay out of it, how to flee from temptation, what is the process, what do you do, and then if you're in it, how do you get out of it? If you're how do you teach your own children, your own male children, your girls, how do you teach them if you haven't been taught? It doesn't make any sense. Like, to me, there should be things that if this is what you do every week, you go to church, you serve with the people that are in your church, you go to Wednesday night service, but you don't have an outlet, you don't have a way to, this is a real issue, a daily issue that people deal with on a regular basis. Why don't we serve them in this way? And equally as important is some type of way to talk to people about depression, talk to people about suicide. And I'm always amazed that we walk around like we're perfect people, and it doesn't matter if you're a Christian or not. You're not perfect. Your life is not perfect. You're dealing with real issues. You deal with issues that will make you depressed. You deal with issues that will cause you to be emotionally unstable. That is the reality. And I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter. In 5 seconds, your life could change. You could be on the edge in 5 seconds. It doesn't matter. Life is happening to us all. It's not perfect for none of us. So how do we deal with our emotions? How do we deal with, who's supposed to teach if we don't have in our churches people that are teaching whatever it is, emotional health, however you want to call it. There should be people in our church who can help people that are hurting. So where the people that are hurting, where do they go? Because I love the fact that we pray for people who have a need in the church. That's great. But what about the need that continues to, I'm going to give you an example. So my son, somebody at a church that I was attending committed suicide. My son comes to me afterwards. He's young. I'm going to say 16, maybe 15. And he says, okay. And I'm saying, I'm going to pray. And I was, right? I was going to pray for the gentleman's family, his mother, everybody. I was, my goal was to pray these young kids experience this, all this, they kind of experience this together. This child committed suicide. And same thing happened to me when I was 16. One of my friends committed suicide. We didn't know what happened. We thought everything was fine. This has been 40 years ago, or 35 years ago. So, a lot of things has changed. We have more access to information. We have more access to trained professionals. There's just resource. There's more now. We know more now than we did when she committed suicide when I was 16. But the reality is that he was saying, okay, after you pray, then what? Because I need to know what to do. I need to know how to handle this. And so if we don't have in our homes, if we're not telling our kids, this is how you handle depression, this is how you handle suicidal thoughts, this is how you handle hard times. If we're not saying it to our children and they're not learning it in church, this is how you handle stress, this is how you want to commit suicide, these are the steps that you need to take. If we're not doing this on a regular basis, then how? And having a safe space, right? Somewhere you can be honest, somewhere you can say whatever it is that you need to say, not the church answer, right? But really how you feel, then how are people supposed to get help? How do we expect people to go? Because the truth is, there is some shame attached to seeing a therapist. There's some shame to being depressed. And the reality is, before we all die, at some point we're going to experience some form of depression. We're going to be down. We're going to have emotional instability. We're going to have issues, things in life that we have to face that are going to be hard, that we're not going to know what to do, that we're going to need help and support. So I believe in having tools, things, resources, conversations about this is what you do, this is how you handle it. And not just one conversation, because just like there are a variety of people, we all have different the way we look different, we come from different backgrounds, we have all different things that makes us different and unique. There needs to be as many solutions as there are people there are in the world. So I believe in having honest conversations. I believe in people being able to be honest and being and not being in a safe space, right? Not being judged, because like I told this young lady, we don't know what's going to happen. We are going to experience the things can change in our lives in an instance. They just do. There's nothing we can do about it, and we need help and support. With how to deal with those things. And of course, everybody's not like me, right? Everybody's not going to be reading books all the time about how to handle hard situations. Everybody's not going to be reading the Bible. Everybody's not going to be praying. Everybody's not going to, when you're in an emotional situation, you don't even know what to do. You can't even think straight. You need people that's on your speaking on your behalf, that are praying for you, that are helping you, that are speaking life over you. But the reality is, we still need to know tangible things that we need to do every single day. How do I get through this? What do I do? If I can't think straight, I need somebody who can tell me, okay, don't forget, this is what you can do. So as you can tell, I get very, very emotional. I get very, very animated about this, because I see that there's so many needs, and we don't do the things that people need. We don't serve people well. We do things that, okay, but we gotta help people deal with hard issues. People are having hard times, so they need help dealing with hard issues. And the safest place to go, the place where people are going on a regular basis, at least twice a week, is to the church. So we can help serve our people well. We can build community of solutions, tools, resources, things that can help people to grow and live and do better. So if you like this video, like and subscribe. Tell me your comments. Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think that either one of these programs will be advantageous in a church or no?